be self-evident that I love America. I love it for its freedom. I love it for its people, and I love it for its democracy. And never would I think for a minute that abridging democracy, except in the most necessary sense, is needed. But in this case, it is. Because, for example, the previous resolution said that Obama, or the executive office, should tell the American people the details of its plan to attack Syria. And this also applies now to all of the rest of future military actions. Now, that's basically like telling someone you're going to throw them a surprise party. You can't tell someone the details of your attack before you attack. This is a military tactic called common sense. You don't do it. Sun Tzu said, "One who knows his enemy as he knows himself will not be engaged in 100 battles." And this has been true since the dawn of military history. And democracy should not be in the military. It's the one thing in our government that's not democratic. We don't have a vote about things. That's why FDR let Eisenhower do whatever he wanted in World War II. He didn't put any restrictions on him because he knew that the generals had to know the situation and they had to be able to make quick, fast, and non-democratic decisions. That's what's needed in war. That's why we have an expanding of executive power in war. It's not because we don't like freedom, it's because we need it to protect our freedom. America! So, for example, giving away, we already saw the fact that giving away even the slight indication that we were actually planning on attacking Syria caused damage to our effort to, even if we were going to attack Syria, it wouldn't have been as useful because the second that Obama said to Congress, "I am throwing the ball to you, you will decide whether or not we attack Syria," Assad moved, and this is by CNN's estimate, 50% of his weapon-making materials and various troops into residential areas like schools and hospitals in order to not only force America to think twice before attacking them, but also if they did attack them because it was somehow necessary, then it would kill thousands of civilians. And telling the American people, and in turn Assad, the details of our attack would only make him be able to evacuate the areas that were going to be bombed and possibly attack back what we're going to use to attack them, as in the ships that are shooting the cruise missiles, or the aircraft that are going to go over a certain sector at a certain time, or even infiltrators and spies that gather the information which is so necessary to the execution of an attack. That is why we cannot have the executive office disclose all the details, or even a lot of the details, to the American public. Because even in places where democracy was included in the military, okay, I have multiple examples. For one, believe it or not, the Chinese Communist Party in the beginning of the Chinese Civil War was relatively democratic. It was basically an army which was headed by an oligarchy, about 12 people, who decided on what the army would do. And now, that's obviously the Communist Party, so it's not democratic, but it at least has voting systems. So we think it maybe has the representatives or what have you. And that system of voting to decide what the army would do was a total failure. Not only would one person dominate most of the time because that's what's necessary, when they didn't, it was gridlock, and the army was almost destroyed on 2 separate occasions. Not to mention the fact that in the most democratic nation in the world in history, Athens, which is a direct democracy, in which all citizens are supposed to decide what the state should do in all actions, except for when they elected a general, they suffered catastrophic failures in their attempts to fight Sparta. This is the principal reason that you don't put democracy in the military. The non-democratic Spartans fought the democratic people of Athens, and they won. They won hard. In fact, it won really telling. I'm looking for a scenario. The Athens attacked into this island of Sicily. They sent a fleet over there because one of the politicians persuaded the General Assembly of Athenians that it would be a good idea to go there, mainly to enhance his own personal power. Now, the Athenian General Assembly investigated him for financial crimes while he was on the ships with the fleet going over Sicily. And so what did this politician do? What did this democratic person do? What did this person who was helped by the people and supported by the people do? He fled to Sparta, and he told them everything of what the Athenians had, and where they were going, and what they were doing. Basically, what Obama would be doing if this was implemented. And you know what the Spartans did? They killed every single Athenian that went to Sicily or put the rest in slavery. So obviously, this is not something that should ever be implemented. Because you say it would waste time, money, and lives? It would kill many more Americans if we told Americans everything before we attacked. And it would result in the destruction of many of our military forces, not to mention defeats by immeasurable number. Thank you. I yield my time.